whoever wants to clap.
Do you want to do it? Do you want to do
Oh,
do the
hell
honors?
yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Great. That's good.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Ryan, and we're back again with another episode of This Week at Notarize. Today, Eric.
Yeah, thank
Thanks
you
for
for having
joining
me.
us. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
first time on the show.
Yeah,
It's a big deal. So, Eric, first off, tell everybody who you are and what you do at Notarize.
Yeah, so my name's Eric, and I work in the engineering department here at Notarize. The team I work for specifically focuses on the platform of the product. We deal with like document lifecycle, meeting, audio, video, this kind of stuff, anything that would facilitate the notarial act.
Awesome. Super exciting stuff.
Yeah.
So today we're talking about a topic that's near and dear to your heart, which is open source.
That is correct.
And I think that a lot of people who are working at startups, particularly in engineering departments, would be surprised by how much of our stack is either based off of open source projects or things that we're contributing to make better. So
Yes.
First, just kind of wanted to get your input on open source and just kind of your perspective about it from a Notarize standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're totally right in that a lot of the world is run on open source. Actually, conceivably all of the world is run on open source. It's very hard these days to interact with software and not have some kind of interaction with open source code. And we certainly use a lot of it here at Notarize. It's not hard for me to say that Notarize as a company would not exist from a technological standpoint without open source software. We use projects like Ruby on Rails, React.js, GraphQL. These are all open source technologies that are dominant in the industry and help us deliver products.
Yeah. So what would you say is some of the benefits to leveraging open source technologies?
Yeah. So what's nice about open source is, a lot of companies end up solving the same problems. Everybody wants to be on the web, right? And they all want to handle web requests, or they all want to deliver consistent and secure UI, or they all want to, any number of problems, right? And there's nothing really special about those problems. We just all need to do it to deliver great products. And so the idea sort of that underlies open source, at least in the industry, is we all solve these things, and therefore we should just all kind of converge on a solution together, and we can collaborate openly and even cross company to deliver this kind of stuff.
I think from a recruiting standpoint, from a just scalability perspective as a company, like to your point about other people solving problems that we might want to take advantage of somebody already finding a solution for, and then kind of making our own.
Yes.
I think that's huge. And then you just recently published your first open source project. So first, congrats.
Thank you. Yes.
And,
very
and
proud.
for Notarize specifically, you've done it before, but for people who are in companies, who are in engineering roles, who are developers, how would you advise them to kind of go back to their teams, their managers, to either build the case to contribute to open source projects or to create their own?
Yeah. So, so there's just generally, there's a couple avenues you can go through. Of course, the most obvious one is if you work for a company that uses open source software, and you probably do, especially if you're a startup. The idea would be like, hey, we are benefiting from this. We should give back, and like that's sort of, if everyone operates that way, then we will of course benefit, right? Because other companies will operate on this. You can also make an argument from sort of a recruiting standpoint, as you said, which is, like if we publish the thing as open source, someone who's interested in working for instance, Notarize might see our new open source project and be like, hey, this is a really wholesome company. I would like to work for a company that contributes to open source. You can, and what I really like about the way that you phrased it, of course, is that ultimately you actually can say, oh, it benefits us directly, right? The idea is that if everyone behaves this way, then we all benefit, right?
Yeah.
We all, especially in the security space in particular, we all reap the benefits.
Yeah. Cool. So shameless plug, we are hiring.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Notarize.com/careers. But just kind of to recap, to make sure I get this right. So obviously, internal advocacy around being able to contribute to things that you're already using. So that makes a ton of sense to be able to say, how do we make this community better?
Yeah.
The second would be, can we use this as a recruiting mechanism to get people in the door who are really excited about working on the projects that we're working on, and then ultimately, from a product and company standpoint, making a product better, more secure, highly scalable is something that everybody wants to be a part of. So kind of that helps with that case.
Yeah, and I think even one more thing you could say is that like, it also gives engineers at a company sort of a career fulfillment, right? This is often seen as something that engineers would want to do. They're like, I would like to contribute to open source, and if you sanction, let's say 3 hours a week for engineers to do that, or whatever your policy is, you can satisfy individual career advancement. Yeah.
Awesome. Eric, well, thanks for coming out for this week.
This has been great.
And we'll see you guys next week.